Well, good morning, everyone. Today's Saturday, not Sunday, but you'll be seeing this on Sunday. So, a couple of updates. I was able to get in contact with the radio station for that market and the actual manager of the radio station, who is also the coordinator of the market. The market is legit. So I am going to market on Sunday. The W-9 was sent out to all the vendors in error. That is something that they used for people who actually buy advertising spots on their station. You know, they're spending $5,000 plus to have ads run on their station. So it was sent out in error, which made me feel better. And I explained to, her name is Jackie, I explained to her, you know, why I was so hesitant. Like, I get this form, I'm confused as to why I'm getting this form, and then I check my bank account and I have all these charges. So it made me very nervous. And like I said, I didn't know if it was just a coincidence or not, and I'm sure that it was. I just can't figure out where I might have used my card that it was compromised. But regardless, that card is dead now. Nobody can use it. I've gotten all the charges taken care of, and I'm just very happy that it was not a scam. At least at this point, that's my belief. I'll know for sure tomorrow when I show up there. The other update, Moose is live. He is available in my Etsy, and I will link him in the description. And he's going to make his market debut tomorrow. Of the two, you know, because I've got the bigger and the smaller, this one's my favorite. It's the eyes. It's all it is. It's just the eyes. This is my favorite color of the two, but the eyes make him. So they will make their market debut tomorrow. Now, what have I been doing the past few days besides covering myself in yarn fluff? Well, we got the pattern for the secret pattern sent out to the testers. I've heard back from a few. Everybody is loving it. Very minor fixes, you know, like rewording a few things, adding a couple things into it. So that is going very well. So the make side of things, I know you're going to laugh at me. It wasn't very much. I mean, it is, but it isn't. So what I had to do with the pattern is I had to make another one to do pictures, and that's the worst part. It takes forever. And because of the color scheme of that pattern, I had to pick colors that I normally wouldn't use for something like that to be able to get the pictures. So it took me a little bit. So that I spent like a whole day just about on that. And then, you know, after I was done with that, I got to make a couple things. So what did we actually do? Well, I made another blue chicken, but I didn't realize it till it was done. I mean, I could fix it, but I'm not going to. I picked the wrong color purple. That's what happens when you pick out yarn in the dark. So that gives me 3 of these little blue chickens from Stardew Valley, I believe. So we did those, and of course Jenna knew exactly what game it was from. And she's like, I want one. I'm like, yeah, no, I want to take them to market first. I'll make you one, but let me take what I have to market. So it gives me 3 of these. And they're kind of small, so they won't be like majorly high priced or anything. So 3 chickens, 1 with the wrong color purple comb. Then I got to do a pattern test for Naughty Nat over on Instagram. She also has an Etsy shop. These are not released yet. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be showing it, but I'm going to show you. She does all the little Chonkemon that I like. Now, she has 3 of them coming out, and I got picked to test one of them. And that's all I had time to make. I want to make the other ones because I do enjoy making them, and I think they're just the cutest little things. But I only had time to do the one that I was supposed to test. And I couldn't tell you the name of what character this is supposed to be, but it is a mouse of some sort. So here he is. These are so easy. It's like 8 rounds. Some of them might be 9 or 10 rounds, but this particular one was 8. And then you use acrylic to make his little like zigzag type tail, and he's got this ball at the end. The only sewing is sewing the ears on, and then this you crochet it onto the thing. It's so easy to do. But I just love these little guys. They are so cute. So we have another chunk to add to my basket, which I did not get a chance to make the ones that I was missing. I don't know if I'll have time today because I was so out of sorts about the whole market and my card situation. I didn't get prepared, so I have to spend today pricing the last little bit of stuff that I need to price and getting things loaded in the car and organized and take some things out and put my new shelves in. And yeah, so it's going to be one of those days. So we did that. And then I did another pattern test. And this one was for Stacy. And this one's a quick one. It was pretty easy. I did struggle with one round, but we got it straightened out. It was mostly me, but it just needed a few like different wording added to the instructions for the round. But she's got this cute little hamster pattern. This one was my first one, and I did it with Sweet Snuggles Light. And I could have used a safety nose, but I chose to do the embroidered nose. I do have some safety noses, but you know, when you're sticking those little things in the little tip that's 4, it's hard. Like, I'm always scared I don't have it snapped on right. But he's got his little pudgy cheeks, just like a little hamster, and it's a nice pattern. So then I made another one. And this one, I went against the grain. The pattern gives you 2 versions, one like this and one for a solid color. But because I used Sweet Snuggles Light and I wanted them to come out the same size, or close to it, don't really have a lot of color choices. So I did this one in mustard, but I gave just the tip of his nose a little bit of white to take away from that mustard. So I have 2 little hamsters. I would say this is probably once you get past the first one, and if you don't struggle with round 7 like I did, this is definitely less than a 30-minute make. They are really cute. Now, someone said they think people are going to think these are rats, and I'm like, well, that'll only be the adults, because the kids know what these things are. Even, I mean, Gemma knew what they are. She said hamster right off. And I don't think they look anything like a rat. With that short little nubby tail, they're cute. They are really cute. This one is my favorite. Usually the first one turns out the best. Cute. So we have the 2 hamsters. Last year, coming up to Easter, I was making these jelly bean bunnies from, oh my goodness, now I'm not going to be able to think of her name. Crickets again. Oh my goodness. Doesn't matter. Well, she also had a tutorial for a flamingo that I wanted. And I did not want to sit through like an hour and 20-minute tutorial. So I went over to her Etsy and I purchased her pattern. So she had coupon codes for, like if you buy 2 patterns, you get this amount off, 3 patterns, this amount, 4 patterns, you know, so on. So I picked out 2 patterns, and the first one I went to try was a bunny. Now I have bunny patterns. Why did I need another bunny pattern? This one just, I loved how it looked. But let me tell you, I did not enjoy making this one bit. 2 reasons. The pattern format, I got very confused because there's like option 1 is to crochet in, option 2 is to sew, or whatever order that's in. And I just got mixed up with it. So the format confused me, and then I was doubling my yarn because I was using parfait. So it takes a little longer, and you have to, you know, so you make sure you don't miss one of the strands. Anyways, so I made this bunny. Now, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I had to change the ears. They just weren't working for me. The shape wasn't coming out right, and that was probably due to the fact of me doubling up the yarn. But I frogged those babies out, and I put completely different ears on this. So this is how it came out. It's got this little teeny tiny skinny body and this big old cone head. Now, you're working from the bottom up. Is my coning in the head? Because hers looks round in the pictures. I think it is from a combination of me doubling the yarn and then the way she did the decreases. Like if you're making a ball and say it's 30 round, you decreased down to 24, then you decreased down to 18, down to 12, down to 6 to close it up. This was, hopefully I'm not confusing the 2 patterns. This one was like, do a decrease round, now do 2 rounds of that color, that number, do a decrease round, now do a round of that number. But so instead of it getting that round looking head, I was getting a cone head. And then the ears didn't work for me. So these ears are from, they're huge. Momo. The ears came from the Momo pattern because you use the blossom on the feet, and then in the regular pattern for this, the blossom is used to line the ear. But like I said, because I was doubling, it just the shape wasn't coming out right. They looked stupid. They wouldn't stand up. I frogged it and redid it. So these were so big. Now the ears on this one, this part, I did not double up. I just did regular because they would have been ginormous, like dragging the ground, big. It just wouldn't have worked. And I barely had enough of this to get through it. I think I had like a piece this long left after it was said and done. So I had to tack it down more on the edge of the ears to try and help balance this poor thing. It is definitely top heavy and wants to tip over, so I have to fidget with it. But this pattern was not a good choice for doubling the yarn. And I wish I could have got the ears right, because it just, hers, it looked so, I got fluff everywhere. It looked so, I loved it. It was adorable. I was like so frustrated with myself, and it's so aggravated. I'd do a little bit and I'd set it aside, and I'm like, I could frog it all out, and I'm like, no, I don't want to frog it out. I want to finish it. And it was like, I felt like it took me an eternity to make this thing. Hopefully somebody loves it, because he's just not normal. He is not normal. So maybe we'll call him Abby. You remember Young Frankenstein? It's Abby Normal. We'll name that bunny Abby. All right, so then the other pattern, the one that I wanted, was the Flamingo. And I had the same issue with the head, wanting to cone. So I had to like not stuff it like I normally would stuff, and like smush it into shape. Otherwise my Flamingo would have had a cone head. And I did not double this yarn. This one I used the chenille braids. And it comes out for a fairly decent size. I mean, set it on my shoulder. I just thought, and again, her pictures look way cuter than mine turned out. I don't know, maybe it's my stuffing technique, my yarn under. And again, the format was with the options to sew or crochet in. So on this one, I mixed it. And then I was aware that I was going to run into that after doing the bunny pattern. So it wasn't as confusing for me. So I did get lost on the tail round. So I may or may not have an extra round in this. I had to do this part just a little different because I was getting big holes. So the legs are crocheted in. Now her pattern calls for a coral color. This yarn does not come in a coral, or if it does, I do not have that color available. The wings are crocheted in. The head and body is all one piece. So the only thing I had to sew on was the beak. And I like how she did the beak. Technically that light pink there should be a coral, but like I said, I don't have the coral. And then this was supposed to be, if you followed the color directions, the same color that I used in the ears on this, but because I used it all in the bunny, I didn't have it for this, so I used a little bit of the pink color of the bloom or blossom, whatever Premier calls that, to give her her little headband. She needs the headband. Without the headband, she looks very plain. She's a plain Jane. So this one I would do again. That bunny, I don't know. I might try it one more time, not doubling the yarn, and also being aware of the formatting of her patterns now. And I could probably do it, but it probably won't be anytime soon. This one I would do again. So we have the Flamingo. And then I got to watch Marsha's video, and she's showing off her Mona Browns, and I'm like, I want to make another Mona Brown and fancy her up kind of like Marsha did. But I didn't do it exactly like she did because I don't have the tool to make the tutu. So I used instead of Parfait Chunky, because I wanted to use some Bernat because I wanted to see for myself how big it would come out with Bernat, but I used Bernat frosting and mixed it with chenille brights. They work perfectly together. I had no issues I did make one little boo-boo on this. When I went to put the eyes in, and I put them in, but I don't have the backs on, and then I put the muzzle on the face because I want to make sure I have my eyes right. Well, they look great, so I went ahead and snapped them in, but then when I got to the part of sewing on the muzzle and the ears, I felt like I got the eyes too far apart. Maybe it was the difference between having stuffing in it and no stuffing in it. So next time, I'm going to put a little stuffing in it, see how it distorts the shape, and make sure that, you know, the eyes aren't so wide set. So, I used the frosting. Let me just show you, because she turned out really sweet. She is styling. Her name should be Olive because she's sporting that long, skinny, shapeless body. But here she is. So we have the frosting for the main part of the body. Whatever color this is from Chenille Brights. Seaside, Seafoam, Sea something. They're light blue. And I think this color is Mushroom. So I did her little hands in the blue to make it look like she was wearing gloves. The last 5 rounds on the arm I made for sleeves. And on her feet I used that sea whatever and tried to make it look like she was wearing little socks. Gave her a little ruffle around her ankles. I probably should have went up a couple of rounds higher so it actually looked more like socks. But, you know, I was just playing. And then we switched, gave her a little midriff top, so she's sporting some belly there. She thinks she's sexy. And then did a couple of rounds of the body color so that, you know, she could be showing off her belly. And then switched to blue to make it look like she's got bloomers underneath her little skirt. And for her skirt, at first I left around with the front loops open so that I could work into. Then I did a round of single crochet and then went back and put 2 triple crochets into each of the single crochets to make her little skirt. Gave her a little collar, and this is, I think I did half double crochets. Might be single, I don't remember. But I did 2 in each to give her a little ruffled collar. And then we added the hair and attached a little bow. Now, of course, I didn't have a bow that matched, but you know what? I think the black and white stripes looked really nice on there. So I was looking at Toby's monkey that he likes to drag around. Luckily, he hasn't tried to steal any of my Monas. But he has this monkey that's bigger than he is that he drags around. And it wears a little hat. But what I was looking at was the face. And for the nose, it's got a little tiny V on it for the nose. And I thought, that looks really cute. I'm going to try that on this one. So I did. So it looks like it has little nostrils there. That is sinking into the yarn. So we have one Mona Olive Mona. And then I did the tip of the tail in the same color as the ears and the muzzle. I don't know why. I just decided to do that. But I like her. She's styling. She's, I took some pictures yesterday and she was all posing with her arm propped up on the little chair that she was sitting in and her legs crossed over. Yeah, she looked like she was trolling. But yeah. So you don't need other fancy accessories to go with it. You just do it with the yarn. I think she looks good. So then last night or yesterday, I had finished up Olive yesterday morning because I had most of her done the night before. And then I was like, I need to make one of those elephants out of that plush, that really bright, colorful, happy yarn. So I was able to get an elephant done. And because last market, it sold before the market was open. So I wanted to be able to have another one with me tomorrow. And then, I know, it seems like a lot, but it really isn't. It's 1, 2, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4 decent sized plushies. 2 pattern tests, so they don't really count. And 1 blue chicken with the wrong color comb. For those. So when Jenna saw the blue chickens, she's like, oh, you need to make, and I cannot think of the name of the little characters, but I even think Katie made these too. It's an apple with wide set eyes, a stem and a leaf, and then it has arms and legs. And so Jenna's looking for me to see if there's a pattern. And I'm like, I really don't need a pattern for that. It's too simple. I just need to see a picture of it, like the characters, so that I can feel like I'm getting eye placement and stuff like that right. So this one was the first one. And Jenna wants it really bad. I told her not this one. I will make her one after the market if this sells. But I wanted to have a few to be able to take with me to display with the chickens. So, Chenille Brights, Parfait Chunky in the new acorn and goblin green for the leaf. And then just some black acrylic for the arms and the legs. So I just, short little arms. With the picture, it looked like it had, 2 little fingers on it. And it did look like it had a foot. So I did a bobble at the end of the chain and then slip stitched back. This one I thought turned out really nice. So I said, what colors do they have? They have red, green, yellow, blue, and gray. So I'm like, all right, I want to take 3. Let me do a yellow one. Well, I don't know if I added an extra round or if the yarn was just a lot thicker, but my yellow one turned out bigger than my green one, not by a lot, so it might be the thickness of the yarn. And then I went to do a red one, and I think I have less rounds in it. He's not finished yet. He needs his arms and legs. But he's a lot squattier. All 3 of them are different sizes. That's what happens when you're working late at night and you're tired and you're just unsure of what is going on. So he's going to be squatty. I'm going to take them all anyways and just, see what happens. I mean, somebody has to, actually play that game to know what they are. But it's an apple. I can't think of what it is in the video game. If Jenna was here, she'd tell me, but she's at work. So we did those. And now I am going to let the cat out of the bag. Because some people that are testing are just dying to show you guys what the secret pattern is. I'm still waiting on a few, so it is not going to be released yet, but I'll show you what you have to look forward to. So, I want you to meet Zelda. I just love Zelda. Zelda is my favorite so far. She is just, I love her. I just absolutely love her. So this is Zelda. I mean, with all the color changes, the transition in the back is not too bad, but you can really tell how much your beginning stitch travels. And then this cute tail. Now, I was tried, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 different ways to do the tail, and I kept going back to looking at the pictures of zebras online, and the tail was striped, and then it had a little fur on the underside. But I found it easier to just go around circling the end. Plus, I think it looks cute. So, Zelda. This one's my favorite. So, in order to do pictures, because, you know, black and white just doesn't photograph well, I did it in blues. And my white is so thin, I couldn't use the white with the blue because my blue was so much thicker. It just wasn't working right. So I had to use 2 shades of blue. Now, if you're going to do the zebra and you want to do non-traditional black and white, whatever color you choose, use white with it, because the blue on blue just, I don't know. Well, anyways, so this one was the one that I did for the photographs in the pattern because it was easier to pick up the colors. And I used, just to show, well, 2 reasons. To show that you can use like the little bunny or eyelash yarn rather than running out and getting fur if you don't want to use fur. I cannot believe how much fluff I have all over me. Oh my goodness. So I used that and it works just fine. I've done it on many patterns that called for fur, even on his little tail. It's actually easier to work with than the fur. And I used regular sinker eyes on this one instead of the goofy eyes, just to, you know, because most people don't have these kind of eyes. But, so I did that. And as people were sending me their photos, some of them have gotten pretty creative. I can't wait for them to show off their stuff. And once everybody's finished, then I will show pictures of the testers. But I want everybody to be able to share their own stuff first. Yeah, I really need to share with you guys everybody's stuff from Moose. Maybe in the next video because I'm running short on time today. But when I was chatting with the different people, the different testers on Zelda, that is her name, Zelda. You know, it was being thrown out there, the different things that you could do with this. And I had already thought, okay, you can make it a horse or you can make it a unicorn. So I tried doing with the horse, just plain, because I wanted to be able to show that this pattern would be good for all these different things. So I went to do a horse, and my colors are kind of So he looks a little plain. He's not so fancy. But doing it solid, better colors than I chose. And then I just attached, you know, for the tail, the strings of the fur. Probably needs a little bit more. But you could do the horse. You could make the mane in the little twisties, you know, like you do an octopus leg, and add a horn and make it a unicorn. Or you could do it in gray and black, real fluffy hair, and you'd have donkey. I mean, so Zelda could be like 4 different things just with playing with the colors. Just an idea. But Zelda, my favorite. So that is the cat getting out of the bag. And I need to get to work because I got a lot to do. I need to price all my stuff. I need to put arms and legs on this and get my stuff together for tomorrow and get the car all loaded and situated because I am not going to want to do it at 7 o'clock in the morning. Anywho, I do not have a release date for Zelda. Definitely by next weekend. The deadline for the testers is Wednesday. But like I said, some of them are just dying to show. Some of them, oh my gosh. Some of them are just absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to share them all with you guys. I just can't wait. Anyhow, I got to get to work, so we will see you Wednesday, and wish me luck tomorrow.